Welcome to another Trailers from Hell. When There Was a Crooked Man opened at Christmas in 1970, Time magazine compared it to Old Timers' Day at the ballpark, and the review went downhill from there. A few years earlier, it certainly would have been welcomed more warmly. After all, it was directed by Joseph Mankiewicz, written by David Newman and Robert Benton, fresh off Bonnie and Clyde, and had an all-star cast that genuinely was an all-star cast. But coming after the likes of Easy Rider and MASH, it really did seem a little bit like a geezer fest. Worse, now, nearly 50 years later, the title still draws a blank if you mention it, even the folks old enough to have seen it when it opened. So now, I'm going to once again reach down into the grave and bring a really terrific picture back into the sunlight. An apt metaphor considering its setting. That cutesy music by Charles Strauss, composer of Bye Bye Birdie, Annie, and yes, Bonnie and Clyde, immediately tells us this is a romp, even though an awful lot of people get killed before it's over.
This is as far as you go, Floyd.
Hey, spoiler alert! And here's Michael Blodgett, fresh off Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, giving us one dude under 40. The script definitely combines two venerable genres, the Western and the prison break, in a fresh new way, with lots of comedy to counter the inherent grimness of the premise. But it did have some then-hip ideas for its elderly cast. Here's Hume Cronin and John Randolph as a bickering old gay couple.
You put me here just like you'll be the death of me.
You could have got a decent job and gone to work the way that other men do. I would have cooked and cleaned and worked my fingers to the bone, but oh, no. That wasn't good enough for you, Mr. Big Eye.
The Crooked Man is Kirk Douglas at his charmingly, cunningly evil best, decked out with red hair and wire-rimmed glasses and $500,000 stashed somewhere in the desert.
Must have an idea how to bust out. For $500,000, there's got to be a first time.
500,000.
I got 500,000 that is, dollars in U.S. legal currency hid in a hole somewhere in this territory.
Henry Fonda is the new warden, a progressive-minded reformer, and in a daring touch for the counterculture era, he's played as somewhat of a patsy. He and Kirk have real chemistry in their one-on-one scenes, making you wish they'd work together more often. And this is C.K. Yang, better known as an Olympic medalist in the decathlon, though why anyone thought he'd sell a few more tickets is beyond me. And this scene clearly shows who's really running the joint, and it ain't Fonda. This doesn't even begin to cover all the familiar faces on hand, including Alan Hale and Victor French's guards, Arthur O'Connell, Gene Cooper, Gene Evans, and Lee Grant in a bit that, based on her billing, is apparently longer in the rough cut. And there's also Burgess Meredith as a pot-smoking old train robber.
This is a Missouri kid you're talking to.
That beautiful prison set was designed by Edward Carrere, gorgeously shot by Western ace Harry Stradling Jr., and all that sunshine was a marked departure from the dark look of most prison pictures. Now, I once ran a 16 of this for a bunch of pals, and as I was changing reels, a friend of one of them remarked that he didn't like it. I asked, why not? And he replied, I don't know what's going to happen next. I said, most people wouldn't consider that a liability. Be that as it may, all this effort went for naught, as audiences chose to spend their money watching Ally McGraw die slowly of some loathsome disease. And, this trailer is okay, but it's kind of choppy, and you'll notice at the end, they don't even mention Mankiewicz or the writers of Bonnie and Clyde. Oh well, anyway, I'm here to tell you this is some swell picture, so cop a look as soon as you can, because its box office failure may be one reason why they did stop making them like they used to.